in this video, I want to focus on getting rest. So I'm going to break the video down into 4 parts. The first part is going to be on hustle culture. The second part is going to be about avoiding burnout. The third part is going to be sit down. And the last part is going to be your body will tell you. So to talk about the first portion of it, which is hustle culture, we have to first, please excuse my co-host here. He wants to make a guest appearance. So for the first portion of the video, I'm going to focus on hustle culture. But first, let's define what is hustle culture, because some people may not know. So when I did some research, in simple terms, hustle culture is, and I've written it down, so I'm just going to grab it so that I can read it. And it's a societal attitude that glorifies working long hours at the expense of your mental and physical health. So I say all that to say, we need to stop hustle culture. You shouldn't constantly be going. I don't know if you remember, but when we were younger, there was like this battery commercial about the Energizer Bunny. And in the video, the Energizer Bunny would just keep going. Give me 1 second. Charlie, you have to get down. So, Charlie, he wants to play. So, in the commercial, the Energizer Bunny would just keep going. And he actually had like a drum that he was hitting. He was hitting his drum and just kept going. And that's how we are in today's society. And hustle culture glorifies that. You have to continue to grind. You got to continue to keep working hard without taking breaks. You got to just... I remember when we were younger, there was also something called vampire life, where you would just stay up all night without any real reasoning. Like, you would just stay up just because. There was no real reason behind you staying up all night. And it's like, that's kind of how we're taught. Like, you just keep working. You don't take breaks while you're at work. You come home. If you're at work and you've already done a lot of work, but you still have more work to do, you come home and you work overtime and you're missing sleep. All that is not healthy, and it's really not good, and it really does not serve a good purpose, because at the end of the day, your health is what matters most. And with you constantly going and hustling and bustling, your body will no longer be able to take that. And we're going to focus on that part at the ending of the video. So I say that to say, let's stop glorifying hustle culture and telling people to just keep working without taking breaks, because there's nothing good is going to come out of that. So let's focus on the second portion. And the first portion of what I just said kind of goes into the second portion of avoiding burnout. When you're constantly on the go, you're constantly on the move, after a while, you become exhausted. You become drained from... I remember when I was in college, I would spend multiple days pulling all-nighters, right? So it's like I have an exam coming up, or I have a quiz coming up, or it's midterms and finals week, and I really need to get work done. And I would just keep staying up. Starbucks every night, Red Bull every other day. Like, it's like, just keep taking energy drinks and keep taking different, things to keep you awake. And after a while, my body could not take it anymore. 3+ days just pulling all-nighters, and then staying up to wake up to the sun, and I got class in a few hours. After a while, my brain could no longer function the correct way it's supposed to function, because you need sleep, and your body becomes exhausted and drained from constantly being on the go. So to avoid burnout, definitely get rest. Getting rest is vital to avoiding burnout and to ensuring that your brain successfully functions correctly. So the third thing is sit down, okay? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You've been to every party. You've been to every baby shower. You've been to every wedding. You've been to every outside. It's summertime, so we outside. You've been to every outside event. It's time for you to sit down and relax and let your body and your brain just reset and recharge, okay? So for the third part, sit down, I really want to focus on practicing mindfulness. So if you're like me, I'm into yoga, and a form of yoga involves mindfulness involves a form of yoga. So with yoga, you can do different poses. Like, for example, there's child's pose, there's downward dog, there's something called the butterfly. Like, there's different poses you can do in yoga to just help your body relax and release any of the chemicals that it needs to get out when you're feeling anxiety, or you're just feeling burned out and drained, and you just need to recharge, and like just getting those chemicals out of your body will help you. And now that I mentioned that, I'm gonna do a whole video on anxiety and things like that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And another thing I wanted to mention is I recently heard someone say, whatever you're doing, do it well. So with that being said, if you're going to sit down, make sure you sit down and you stay there, okay? I know in one of my videos I talked about getting up, but that was focused on that video. In this video, when we're talking about sitting down, sit down and stay there until you're fully charged and you're fully capable of continuing to go on. Because I think sometimes while we'll try to wind down and we'll try to sit down, our brains are still going. And that's where it's like you're not fully getting rest when even though you may be laying there, your mind is still going. So I would say definitely make sure when you're doing this thing where you're resting, that you're getting your rest and you're doing it well. You're not trying to, still think about other things, okay? Like when you're resting, make sure that your mind is at rest as well. And then the last portion of the sit down is winding down. And it goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. So make sure you're setting nightly routines where you're after work or after school, you come home, you wash your face, brush your teeth, really just kind of focus on preparing yourself for bed. And for me, what I do on Sundays is I'll do something called Self-Care Sunday, where after I've done everything, went to church, grocery shopping, or whatever I had to do for that day, I will come home, I will wash my face, and then I put like these little eye patches under my face, which helps with like under eye bags. Or sometimes I'll take a bath, run some warm water, take a nice warm bubble bath to just kind of relax and, just enjoy my own presence. And I won't have any music playing. I won't have I might have like a candle lit on the side, but sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes it's just me and my bubbles in the bubble baths and me just enjoying my time to myself. And like even in those moments, I'll get ideas like this, to make videos like this, where I'll have different ideas come into my head because I'm just able to unwind and really just focus on living in the present moment and enjoying that bath and enjoying that moment to myself. So lastly, I want to focus on your body will tell you. So for me, when I'm exhausted, like I said, on those days where I was pulling all-nighters, after a while, my body told me. So for me, when I'm tired and I'm not getting enough rest, my eyes will start to twitch. So that's one sign that my body is telling me that, girl, you need to sit down and go to bed. Another sign is sometimes when I'm tired, and I know sometimes other people go through this too. Like, I'll have headaches because it's like I might not be getting enough water. I may be dehydrated, and I also am not getting enough rest. So I'll have headaches. And even sometimes when I'm tired, I'll just say like stuff, like crazy stuff. Like if I know I'm tired and it's like I'm on the phone with somebody, I'll just be like, yeah, I gotta go. Cause it's like I'll end up saying like something that has nothing to do with the conversation because like my brain is not functioning correctly. Okay. So that's the moral. Actually, I wanted to mention something else in terms of your body telling you. Recently, my favorite singer, Usher, he had to take a break because he was about to go on his tour. I believe it's called Past, Present, Future Tour. And he had to take a break because his body was like, okay, sir, enough is enough. If we kind of give a quick rundown of what he's been doing, he did over 100 shows in Las Vegas at his residency. Then he went on to perform at the Super Bowl. Then he went on to perform at Essence Fest. So at some point, your body is like, okay, enough is enough. I am no longer the hamster on the wheel that can just keep going and going and going and going and going without resetting and recharging. So right now he's taking a break and he's letting his body, he's refocusing and letting his body rest and letting his body heal so that when it's time, he can put on the performance of a lifetime, which as someone who has seen him multiple times, he does. He puts on the performance of a lifetime, a performance that you will remember. But he can't do that if he's unable physically to do that. So I say that to say, continue to get your rest. And when your body tells you that it's time to rest, obey it. Because I think sometimes we will try to avoid it and we'll try to ignore it and we'll keep going and keep going. And then that's when burnout happens. That's when you're crashing and your body's like, I can't take it anymore. So let's ensure that we're listening to our bodies and we're getting rest. So that way, when it's time to come back, we come back stronger and we come back better. Hope you all have a great day. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with someone who you believe needs and deserves rest.